look how jagged up this is. And you're like, okay.
Well, and one would hope that you would at least, we'll finish on this thought, that you would at least have a car to advertise.
Or one driving around in the background.
Yeah. At least have something, and well, maybe they're going to reinvent their model line. Maybe they're going to go full EV. Who knows what they're going to do?
I'll be straight. If I made a car commercial and wanted to bring a car thing back, I'd probably make it dynamic and interesting and genius like Forbes said it, but it'd be my car hitting somebody, and they'd be like, look how safe it is.
The dude just gets up.
driver's just fine.
Wait, the dude's not getting up.
Yeah, the driver's fine. Drive a Jag. It's super jagged up to run someone over, but you're fine, you know?
That's like those old Top Gear ads that they did as jokes. I love that. I love that. That's by the way, if you are in the PR department at Jag, you really should hire Jim to do your PR and your marketing.
It would at least be funny.
From Olympic City and the home of Pikes Peak, this is the Automotive ADHD Show with Matt West.
And here we are, rocking it on the Automotive ADHD Show. I am Matt West, hanging out with you, talking cars today, and we've got a loaded show for you today. Hertz Rental Car strands the Denver mayor. Jaguar sells cars, at least I think they do. Big question mark there. Toyota announces the last A90 Supra for now. We're going to talk about that and more. And as well as that, I have Jim Miller co-hosting the show with me once again, honorary co-host of the show. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Ooh, very welcome and very honored. Very honored.
Very honored. So now, earlier this week, we were having a little bit of a debate. We got on this. I'm not sure how we got on this, but we had a debate about when you start your car cold in the morning, what do? Do you let it warm up or do you just drive? And Jim, I think you're in the camp of you let it warm up and you let it get to temp before you go.
I warm it up and let it get to temp unless there's something dire going on and I have to go and I'm running late. Then I just wait for the idle change, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It'll high idle to it just idles down a bit. And I'm like, all right, I can just put on it easy and I'm going to be at a stoplight and it's fine. But yeah, I'm a warm it up guy.
Well, and I have to take the other side of the camp here because I get in and I go. Now, I don't go. There's some caveats to it. He's cringing already. He's cringing already.
It hurts even hearing this.
He was telling me that I'm just not being nice to that 4-liter in my Tacoma when I do that. But what I do is I get in a car and I'll start it and I'll put the seatbelt on. I'll get the radio all squared away. Of course, I'll tune it into one of the radio stations that this show is heard on. AM 1460, The Answer, The Word, FM 107, as well as AM 1400 KRLN and 91.7 KLZR. See, I slipped in a mention there.
You did.
I had to do that.
You did. So self-promoting with what you do with your radio.
Yep.
During your warm-up. Your warm-up
My
procedure.
warm-up. Yep. So I do that. And anyway, then I go. And I do drive, though, a little more gently. I drive gently. I keep it under 3,000 RPM. I'm not ripping on it. So I drive lightly. And that's what I do. And now, I think Brian, who is not here to join us today, he takes the opposite approach of both of us, and he just gets in and takes off.
What's warm? I've never heard of her. She sounds hideous.
I think he just says, you know what? I'm a mechanic. I'll fix it anyway. And I take the stance of, well, I don't want to fix it in the first place. But he's argued in the past that it really doesn't matter, especially on modern cars with fuel injection and things like that. It really doesn't matter all that much. And I've heard that the oil takes not nearly as long to heat up as the coolant does. So like, especially because you've got the oil and it's sloshing around in the crankcase and it's going to get contact with the bottom of the pistons and it's going to get hot a lot faster. Because that's your biggest concern is that oil and its ability to effectively lubricate at those temperatures.
Well, I don't know. I just want to play it safe and have less money spent on repairs. And if it takes me a few more minutes, I think it's worth taking a few more minutes just in case. But I also come from the era of old carbureted crap and non-synthetic oils and a lot sloppier clearances on even bills and stuff. So
yeah. Well, that's a whole debate in its own, is the oil debate.
Just the oil debate, because newer oils are better than older oils. That's for sure. The synthetics and all this and that. And
right.
all the chemicals and the dyes and the lubricating technologies of things that are well beyond me, that are beep, bop, boop, nerd stuff that I don't even comprehend. And you're like, So I'm from the older era. I'll warm it up. I'll do it. And what started this argument a bit is puffing.
Puffing. Yes, puffing.
It's not a drug thing.
No. And you know what's funny is, so I was actually looking this up right before the show. I looked up Colorado Springs puffing ordinance, and I got all sorts of things about medicinal drugs, ones that are typically smoked by the people who do them.
Puffing, not to be confused with huffing. Do not huff, and puffing is illegal.
I suppose I should have looked up Colorado Springs car idle laws. Let's see.
Yeah, well, it's mainly they don't want you warming your car up unattended when it's cold and all this and that, and getting the inside warmed up and getting the engine warmed up. They don't want you doing that. And if I remember correctly, what they do is they start complaining about, like, oh, well, somebody will steal your stuff. I'm like, what? To me, I'm like, I'm not going to cater to what a thief may do to adjust my life. It's my stuff. There shouldn't be people stealing your stuff. So why has it become that it's against the law for me to start my stuff up because of what a thief may or may not do?
Right. Now, while you were talking there, I did pull this up. According at least to the state, this might vary in the city. The state does say Section 42-14-105. You think they'd find a better way to name these? Be like easier to remember.
A?
Yeah. Or idling.
Idle code A.
Yeah. But it goes here, quote, the owner or operator of a covered vehicle shall not cause or permit the vehicle to idle for more than 5 minutes within any 60-minute period, except as authorized by subsection 2 of this section, which subsection 2 says military or law enforcement, so they can do it. Those cop cars have so many idle hours on them. It's unbelievable. Yeah. If you've ever...
For every 1 mile, it's probably got 100 idle hours.
Yeah, easily. If you've ever looked at buying a used police car, they seem like great deals. Sometimes they can be, but just know, it's only got 80,000 miles and 800 million idle hours.
They should have a counter for hours on it, like heavy equipment.
They do actually on them.
Oh, do they?
On the new ones, at least.
The new ones they do?
Yeah.
Because the old ones they did, and it just said mileage on it, so.
And you just sort of figure it out. And you just check that oil, and it's like, oh, man.
Is that really oil still? It doesn't smell good.
Yeah, but I think with this, if it's an exceptionally cold morning, and by exceptionally cold, I mean below zero. And for the folks on the podcast, I know there's people who in Europe listen to this on the podcast. I know there are. And below zero, I do mean in Fahrenheit, the superior form of measurement. So just throwing that out there.
That's very American of you. Red, white, and blue, sir.
Look, it makes the most amount of sense when you think about it. 32 degrees is freezing. 100 degrees is hot. 0 is really cold. I mean, what part of that makes... come on. There's no simpler way to do it. You cannot change my mind that there's a simpler way to do it. And don't get me started on metric either. I mean, we use freedom units around here. So... Well,
there's a historical lesson in that too, but I'll save that for another day for you.
Yep, but I think, if it's cold, if it's like 0 or colder, I'll let the truck warm up a bit and, let the fluids get moving a bit. Because I know at 0 degrees, which I don't know what that is in communist units or whatever, that's what the C in Celsius stands for. I'm pretty sure look it up. That's what it stands for. I'm not sure what that is in there.
C stands for communist.
Yep.
In temperature.
Exactly what it is. But that oil, if you've ever watched someone test, like there's these oil tests online and they're fun to watch. They'll freeze a bunch of oil and it doesn't freeze solid, but at, 0 degrees, proper cold, it moves a lot slower. And it's like scary how slow it moves.
Yeah.
So, and at least letting that oil pressure come up. If the oil's that thick, too, you're going to have a ton of oil pressure if you just romp on it right out of there. I don't know. You probably wouldn't blow a seal or anything, but at that point, I don't want to chance it either.
I don't know. To finish it off, though, I think I'm on team warm it up, take care of your stuff, be gentle on it. I don't want to feel like the only person that pays for all the repairs and stuff and maintenance, and I think it's just a safer way to do it.
Yeah, I think it is too, and we've got about a minute to wrap up here on it. Now, I think that, it's a safe way to do it, but I also don't do it. I should clarify.
Yeah, well,
I'm not.
I
I'm
like your
agreeing with you
warm-up.
that it. I should clarify. I'm agreeing with you that it's safer, but I just go anyway.
Yeah, I'm Matt West. I'm heading east. My warm up procedures were put my seatbelt on, turn the radio on, and put the shifter in gear. And you're like, what? Well, if it's dark, I turn the headlights on too. It gives it plenty of time.
Oh, dude,
to warm up.
you need to. And now if I'm driving something really old, I'll let that warm up.
Well, yeah, anything carbureted, I would highly
anything
suggest
really
warm.
old. Yeah, anything old, and by old
Do
I
you
mean
warm up the Volvo?
no.
Oh,
No, that's the one I don't.
That's actually probably the one designed not to be warmed up, though, now that I'm thinking about it.
I take the Brian approach to that one. The second I get it, I'm flooring it. I mean, I'll bang off the rev limiter cold in that one. So you can't break those red blocks. So
It's
anyway,
a Volvo.
you are listening to the Automotive ADHD show. We're going to talk about Jaguar and how they're selling cars, maybe? That's here after the break. Don't go anywhere. Gotta love that. You know who you are. You sent those car sounds. And that's actually an old one. That is from the archive, we will call it. And I dug it out just because I liked it that much. It was an excellent car sound. So remember, you can send your car sounds into my show, facebook.com/automotive ADHD. And I'm thinking, real quick, Jim, what do you think of this? I'm thinking of, in addition to the stickers and the keychain, I'm thinking of sending in just something random and fun now.
Okay.
With there.
All right.
I was thinking of like picking something, but something useful. Like I'll go to Harbor Freight and actually find something decent and throw in there, but I won't tell people what it is.
I don't know about Harbor Freight. I mean,
True peak quality. I'm going for the highest quality possible. So I'm avoiding Snap-on. I'm avoiding Mac. I'm going straight for Harbor Freight.
I got you. You could at least throw them a Craftsman or something, because wherever they are, they probably have a Craftsman so they can warranty it out.
When
if
it breaks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me know what you think. Facebook.com/automotive ADHD. And in our last segment, I forgot to invite you, the listener, to participate and let us know what you do. Do you warm it up? Do you do what Jim does? Let the car come all the way up to temp? Or do you do what I do, which is kind of in the middle? Or are you just a savage like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like Brian?
Just an animal.
He's just an animal.
Car go. That's it.
Skinny pedal. Push it.
Car. On. Go.
Let us know what you think. You can also let me know on YouTube as well on the comments.
Unga bunga me drive.
Which is a great opportunity for me to remind you that you can check out this show. Of course, you might be listening to it here on the radio, but you might be watching it on YouTube as well and Spotify. Spotify's got that cool video thing now.
Oh, yes.
We are on video with Spotify. So
I still want to do a survey, though, on seeing between the warm-up and not warm-up.
I think
just see who is it and just count it and be like, how many?
Yeah. I think we need to know, and so let me know your thoughts on YouTube or Facebook. I think Spotify has a comment section now. I haven't figured out how to make it work yet. I saw it.
Spotify's growing.
Yeah, it is growing. So now one of the things we got to get to on the show here is Jaguar or Jaguar. You can say it either way. I'm just going to say it interchangeably during the whole segment because both of them will be wrong according to somebody.
Nice.
So if I can't make everyone happy, I'll make no one happy.
Sounds like Porsche stuff.
So Jaguar has this is I'm surprised we haven't talked about this on the show.
Okay.
Jag has gone in an interesting direction with their advertising. And I'm not actually sure they sell cars anymore. I don't know what they're selling because going off of the advertisement, I have no idea what they're selling.
Okay.
I have no idea, and they've done a rebrand. The text is, the logo's different. They're trying to rebrand themselves. And I'll tell you why they're trying to rebrand themselves after I show you this. Now, Jim hasn't seen this.
No.
I've only seen portions of it, so I'm even seeing some of this for the first time. And we're going to roll it in the video. And in advance, I do have to apologize to you. If you've already seen this, we're a little late to the game here. So if you've already seen this, you know that it's not fun to watch. At least there's no cars in it. So anyway,
we're going to watch it together.
We're going to watch it together.
Friends.
Just friends. And Jim, I'm going to put the laptop over here.
Okay, let's see.
And we're going to roll this.
The biggest picture of this we can get?
We can get it a little bit bigger.
Ooh.
There we go. I don't know if you can see that. And do we have any audio on it? We're very technical around here.
Oh, boy.
There we go. There's some audio. There it is. It says live vivid. Delete ordinary.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of like voice this over for our radio listeners.
Break molds.
Break molds. Pretty sure that was a dude in a dress.
Oh.
Yep, and this says copy nothing.
Copy nothing. Okay.
And so if you're watching on the radio,
Jaguar.
if you're watching on radio, because that's how that works, the ad was very colorful. There were people in
You're
weird.
smelling this on TV.
Yeah, there were very interestingly dressed. Do you see this? What's with this hair right here? I mean, so this person has an afro, and there's like a notch out of it. It's like missing.
I don't know. A bad barber?
Yeah, perhaps that was probably a slip with the trimmers at the barber. I don't know what's happening. This dude on the far side here, he's wearing like a pillow around his waist.
Oh, okay. I thought he was dressed as a banana, but all right.
No, that's like a pillow wrapped around his waist.
I
don't know.
This looks like they're a little late for Halloween.
Yeah, this or it looks like modern fashion. Like I've from what I understand,
is this a Skittles commercial?
It might be, but so
Starburst.
So the thing is, what did you not see in that advertisement?
I saw no cars.
I saw no cars either.
I just saw a bunch of goofballs.
I saw people dressed in colorful ways, and
90s vivid colors, I guess.
Sure.
It looked like they were doing a really backwards 90s exercise video, maybe. The painty spinny guy seemed a little odd.
That was a little odd. So I think that describes the advertisement pretty well. It's a little odd. I'm not like if you saw this and it didn't say Jaguar at the end.
Think they were selling you clothes or paint.
Yeah, you would think it's some sort of high fashion European thing.
These clothes are sold at Target. Buy them now.
It could have been that. Maybe
it's a stab at Target.
Maybe
you know.
Maybe Jag is rebranding themselves to be a not obscure, but a esoteric European luxury fashion company.
I don't know. It looked kind of Bud Lighty too. It was like kind of like Bud Light. Hold my beer with your beer. Look what I can do.
They butted all the light there.
They did light all the Bud. Yes.
They did.
They lit all the Bud on that one.
And so, and this has sparked some controversy. A lot of people. Elon Musk here tweeted.
No, what did he say?
Quote, "Do you sell cars?" ?
That is a good question.
Do they? And let's answer that question.
It's okay. Maybe Jaguar is going to do like a Yamaha thing where they're making keyboards now and instruments or something.
Sure. Yeah.
It could be.
It could be.
Jaguar's going, I'm going to make clothes.
It could be. I'm wondering. Now, here's the thing. So we, there's Jag, by the way. Let me
That was
pull
the
this.
most jagged up thing I've seen today.
That's perfect.
That was pretty jagged up.
That was pretty jagged up.
You can use that from now on. Say that with your friends. It's the most jagged up thing I've seen.
So the Jaguar's managing director, a guy named Rodden Glauber.
What kind of position is that?
What kind of name is
managing director?
What kind of name is Rodden Glauber as well? I don't know.
Don't know. That's his DJ name.
Maybe it's made up like his position at the company too. Fake job title. You know
fake job title, fake name. Not even a human being. It's AI.
He goes in a press release, quote, "Jaguar was always at its best when challenging convention. That ethos is seen in our new brand identity today and will be further revealed over the coming months. This is a complete reset. Jaguar is transformed to reclaim its originality and inspire a new generation. I'm excited for the world to finally see Jaguar," end quote. And I flipped my pronunciation of Jaguar a few times there.
Does Ford still own Jaguar? Because Ford owned Jaguar for a while, did they?
Don't think so.
Remember when they had the Taurus Jags?
Yeah, and Ford was also, they owned Volvo.
They had a bunch of stuff for a minute, all weird.
Yeah.
So who owns Jag now?
I don't know. Let's see.
Is it a Stratos?
I think, let's see. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm curious.
Because I actually don't know off the top of my head.
You remember the era of Jag where you were like, oh, fancy
I believe,
Taurus.
Jag is owned by Tata Motors, which is, I believe, oh gosh.
What is that?
Tata Motors. This is according to the...
Is that Chinese?
This is according to the internet, by the way. And it's an
interweb will
Indian
tell us.
company that also owns Land Rover, And well, the Rover and the Defender and the Discovery brands as well, because those are their own brands.
Other garbage vehicles.
Well, we already knew Jag and Land Rover were together. I mean, that's already.
They're not just friends; they are together.
They are together, and
more than friends.
So what's interesting here is Forbes reports that Jag is doing this to rebrand themselves and to try to get more sales. And what's interesting about this is I'm not exactly sure who their market is.
Well, if you think of it from an advertising standpoint, though, we're all talking about it, though, aren't we?
We are. But
were you talking about Jag before this? Was anybody going, oh, it's the most jagged up thing I ever seen? Oh, that's super jagged up. Nobody said that. You know, Elon Musk going, cars, question mark? 3 question marks because he's being attentively asking.
The last time I talked about a Jaguar was I was talking with a friend about how, in theory, you can get a 4L80 transmission out of a Jag with a V12 in it, one of the later ones.
So you were talking about Jag, the scavenge parts.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah. So maybe it's a smart move. I'd hate to say it because it looked really dumb.
Well, Forbes is reporting that Forbes reports in a opinion piece by James Morris, quote, Jag rebrand is absolute genius. Now, I, again, question because I don't know if they're actually...
Did they have a follow-up with that, or did they just stated that?
Oh, well, it's quite an article here.
It's intense?
Yeah, it's in depth here. But what I am going to say, and what I think the reasoning for this is Jag's sales numbers, because everyone's asking. Elon asked after that ad ran, does Jag sell cars, right?
Tesla probably sells more cars than Jag.
Tesla sells a ton of cars. But he asks, does Jag actually sell any cars? And the answer is, looking at that ad, you might say, well, no, there's no cars in there. Well, no, the answer is no, they don't sell cars, and they haven't sold any cars for a long time. In fact, it's been reported from right now, goodcarbadcar.net, that Jag has not sold any cars in the month of October, and they don't have any numbers for the month of November right now. But even then, and this just might be the numbers not being reported, the numbers for previous months this year here in the United States are in the thousands. I mean, just single thousands, like 1,100 cars.
In the whole country.
In September, 600 cars in April, 600 cars in May. I mean, that's not a lot.
I don't remember seeing Jags at a dealership, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's very true. So we're going to continue this discussion to the other side of the break. Of course, you are listening to the Automotive ADHD show. We're talking Jag. And if they sell any cars, I think we've answered that. The answer is no. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of turbos danced in their heads. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. When what to my wondering eyes did appear but a Mark IV Supra with boost to hear, and a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick. And then in a twinkling I heard the tires screech, the prancing and pawing of each horsepower. Down the track St. Nicholas came with a bound, a bundle of parts he had flung on his back. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings with speed parts and more, for the children would not have to return the core. He sprang to his Supra, with tires to roast, and down the track he went making the most. With 40 pounds of boost on tap he tore, knowing the children would soon have more. Saying Merry Christmas from the Automotive ADHD podcast. Ho, ho, horsepower.
He's the nut behind the wheel and behind the mic. This is Automotive ADHD with Matt West.
Yes, it is, and not just me, but Jim Miller, just a guy. I didn't mention it this show. You ran for mayor.
I did run for mayor.
You did run for mayor, and he's on this show now. We're talking cars. Of course, you've tuned into the correct car show here on the airwaves. And now, before the break, we were talking a little bit about Jag. We're going to wrap this up really quick, but I was just making the point before the break that Jag does not sell cars in general. I mean, their sales figures are so abysmally low. So it's easy to understand why they're trying to do something to rebrand and change, but
I don't know. You saw the commercial in the ad. It felt like a Skittles commercial, like, hey, Jaguar, taste the rainbow. look how jagged up this is. And you're like, okay.
Well, and one would hope that you would at least, I will finish on this thought, that you would at least have a car to advertise.
Or one driving around in the background.
Yeah. At least have something, and well, maybe they're going to reinvent their model line. Maybe they're going to go full EV. Who knows what they're going to do?
I'll be straight. If I made a car commercial and wanted to bring a car thing back, I'd probably make it dynamic and interesting and genius like Forbes said it, but it'd be my car hitting somebody, and they'd be like, look how safe it is.
The dude just gets up.
driver's just fine.
Wait, the dude's not getting up.
Yeah, the driver's fine. Drive a Jag. It's super jagged up to run someone over, but you're fine, you know?
That's like those old Top Gear ads that they did as jokes. I love that. I love that. That's by the way, if you are in the PR department at Jag, you really should hire Jim to do your PR and your marketing.
It would at least be funny.
Yeah, it probably won't sell any cars still, but it'll be funny.
You'd sell probably 2 cars for every entertaining or hilarious thing I made you do.
Oh, man. And, you know, we've mentioned, too, I mean, Jag, they did the XJ220. We talked about that in the break. They've done some cool stuff, but they've never been a big hit.
It might be time to take old Yeller or take old Jaguar out my old Yeller and just put her down.
Oh, man. So, anyway, hey, let us know your thoughts on the show, YouTube as well as Facebook and so on.
Let us know if you drive a Jag.
If you do, yeah. Let us know if you do drive a Jag. And if you drive one of the old XJs with a V12 and a 4L80 in it, can I have your transmission? I want it. So, just let me know. I'll buy it. So, anyway, now I promised that we would talk about Hertz rental car, which is right now pretty jagged up. And Hertz rental car. Can we make this a thing with this? I want to hear other people using this term now. So share it with your friends. This needs to become a thing.
Out at a bar, some random drunk punches you in the friend in the face. Oh, I was super jagged up, bro. He's like, what? Who's saying this?
So in other news, Hertz and Jim, Hertz as a company has not had a good reputation lately. Everything from getting their customers arrested because they'll rent a car to someone and then report the car is stolen. That happens. That's happened more than once. This is real info, not fake news. And so they've done that. Hertz has also charged people money to fill up the tank on EVs.
Oh,
like when you return a car and it's at half a tank.
Yeah.
And people return it even with a full charge. They'll still charge them for the gas, by the way.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So, and it's no wonder now that the latest thing that's happened at Hertz is they have now left Denver Mayor Mike Johnston stranded after apparently just having all of the Hertz rental car employees at an airport just abandoned their jobs. They all just walked off the job at the same time. And this was at the this was in Syracuse, New York, the Syracuse, New York airport. So Denver Mayor was he was traveling in New York. And
what was he doing there?
I don't know. I don't know. What do people...
Important Denver mayor type things in New York.
Yeah, very important for the mayor of Denver to be in New York.
I should do a little more work, huh?
One would wonder. Did you hear he says he wants to go to jail. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but
that's a weird request.
That is a weird request. Maybe
it's from his Hertz experience.
Maybe it is.
He's like, this is like being in jail, and he's like, I want to go to jail now because my Hertz experience, it didn't hurt enough. If I go to jail, it's going to hurt more.
It's going to hurt more. Maybe he'll go there with the other people that Hertz got arrested. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
He's all wearing a T-shirt. I love the Hertz. Hurts, don't it?
Oh, hey, shout out there for a donut shop that doesn't have cars.
Nice.
But this, so all of this to me is crazy. So you walk off the job, every single person at the airport just walked off, and there were pictures of apparently the counter, the rental car counter. It's just empty, completely empty. No one's there. And if you had a reservation for a car, too bad. And I just, it says something about
I've used Enterprise. I've never even used Hertz, so I don't know.
I too have used Enterprise, and
okay.
when you have budget,
renting a car is not fun anyways, no matter what you do or where you go. But they're not charging me extra for every stupid, goofy, nonsensical thing. They haven't tried to get me arrested yet.
That's fair.
Or have they? I just don't know.
Or have they? Yeah. Now, when you're renting a car from any of these sort of budget style rental car places, I think you're going to get roughly the same experience at every one of them. Now, granted, Hertz is the exception because they are the ones who do try to get their customers arrested. So you're getting a little bit extra. Maybe when you get the bonus package,
get that criminal experience.
like you can when you're signing the contract and the waiver, you can check off the rental car insurance, the extra insurance,
Yeah.
and then you can check off the I want to go to jail experience. You can check that off. That's actually an extra. That's what
Treat
they
me
do.
like a criminal. That'll be $400 extra per day, and you're like, oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, and
It's a little old lady with a walker.
yeah.
Just
If I recall correctly, oh gosh, there have been so many Hertz stories. I should have pulled them up. There have been several over the years.
so he just didn't get a thing, or what? What happened with him?
20 other customers apparently didn't get anything, and they had to find other means of transportation to leave the airport, they're saying.
I feel bad for the 20 other customers.
Yeah, I feel bad for the other 20. I do.
I don't really care about old
The
Mikey.
21st customer, I don't know about that
Yeah,
one.
I don't care about that guy.
I don't.
In New York doing non-Denver stuff. Shouldn't he be doing some work is all I got to say.
Yeah, and now what's interesting, according to airport documents, they say, quote, the counter remained abandoned until 8:41 p.m., from 8:41 p.m. rather, until 6 a.m. So nobody showed up. And,
Nobody wanted that overtime that day.
Nope, they didn't. That says a lot about a company, though, too. When a company is known for being scummy, it's known for problems, and then all the employees walk off, whose fault is that, really? That's the company. I mean, that's the company for having a culture that is just, that promotes that sort of thing. People say, you know what? No, I'm done. Maybe they also were arrested, too. Maybe that's actually what happened. Maybe it was like the end
got the employees arrested.
Maybe it was like, well, no, like they might have signed off on the waiver to have that by accident
experience.
Yeah, I'm sure they get a discount on that as an employee.
Or another $100, we'll call the cops. Like, thanks.
Yeah. Now, of course, we all know that when you do rent a car, you should at least check off that extra insurance option because
I used to not do it, but the last few times I'm just like, yeah, it's what is it, $12 a day, $20 a day, something. When you think about it in the big picture, if something bad does happen, it pushes all the extra liability off you, and it's kind of worth it.
Well, and I was going to just make the point that not that I would drive a rental car like a rental car, but sometimes rental cars get driven like rental cars. That can sometimes happen. So I've been told. Though, good practice, tying this back into obviously being a car show. Anytime I rent something, whether it's a U-Haul truck, which I've rented those before, trailers, all of that stuff, a really good practice is before you even leave the lot, before you even leave it, walk all the way around it, take like 1,000 photos. If there's a scratch on the door, get close, take a picture of that. Or do a video walk around. Do pictures.
Because sometimes some of those people turning in will be like crazy about stuff, and you're like, that's just a dirt. And you like rub it off. Oh, thought it was a scratch. Like, get all extra, and you're all, what are you doing?
Well, they say.
You know what I'm talking about, though. And you're like, that's just dirt from pulling in the muddy entryway. It's mud on the side. And you're like, look, I thought it was a scratch.
Yeah. So
I'm going to charge you. You're like, no, thank you.
Cover your bases when you rent something. I've even had a U-Haul employee tell me, yeah, we document everything, but you should too, just in case. Because you don't want to be held liable for something that you didn't cause. And, they'll throw that at you. So unless it's Hertz, they'll just have you arrested.
It's a business. It wants its money.
Yeah, they'll just have you arrested. So anyway, you're listening to the Automotive ADHD Show. We're going to talk about Toyota after the break.
This year, 9 million of you Americans will buy a car, probably from one of the 3 big car companies, without even considering American Motors. Now, that's a shame. Last April, we came out with a Gremlin, an American car that met the economy imports head on. Nobody had ever done that before. We went all out designing the Javelin, even at the risk of scaring some people off. And nobody's ever done that before. This fall, the Sportabout, a stylish, compact car designed for the way a woman uses a car. Nobody else is doing that. On every Ambassador model, we're making air conditioning and automatic transmission standard. And nobody else does that. Why is American Motors doing all this? If you had to compete with the three biggest car companies in America, what would you do?
Matt Brady's Porsche 911. Gotta love it there. Send those car sounds in. Facebook.com/Automotive ADHD. I'm laughing still. We were discussing world problems, how to solve all of the world's problems during the break, and I'm just cracking up from that still. That's just gonna have to be a bonus show somewhere. That's gonna have to be a bonus show. It's really good. So anyway, Matt West here hanging out with you. You're listening to the Automotive ADHD show. I have Jim Miller, just a guy, sitting across the board from me here. And we need to talk about this. Jim, you sent me a couple of stories earlier this week, and one of which is, I've got a few here, so let's take our pick. New Toyota Celica officially confirmed under development by Toyota, the Toyota Supra A90 Final Edition, or next-gen Toyota GR86 ditches the Boxer engine per discussions with Toyota.
This is the end of a show, so let's start with the end of something.
I just have to point out, all the ones you sent me are Toyota related. I feel like there's a trend there.
No, there's not. No commonalities, no correlations. I've never even heard of Toyota.
Toyota who?
Toyota?
A Toyota?
Toyota?
You mean like Star Wars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, I think, what do you think on each of these? Which one should we go with?
Let's talk about the Celica a little bit first. I'm a little more interested in that coming back because it's been gone for a while, man.
Okay.
It's been, how long has it been gone? 18 years? 16 years?
Yeah.
Something. We're over a decade now because the last one was that little spaceship one, the 2000s one, right?
Yeah, and that was the one, the Celica died as a front-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, not a bad one.
It was born as a rear-wheel drive car, but there was a lot of
2006.
A lot of rally all-wheel drive cars that really kind of brought it up in status, I guess is how you would say it.
I would say that's a fair way to put it. And Car Scoops here, Thanos Papas. That's actually his name, by the way. That's a cool name. His first name's Thanos. I mean, that's cool.
That's interesting.
Maybe he can snap his fingers and the universe will become all Toyota.
Thanos sounds very Marvel.
Yeah. Anyway, so he reports here on Car Scoops that at a public event, Toyota VP Yuki Nakajima told attendees, quote, "We're doing the Celica," end quote. And this, I mean, it's actually, generally, if it's a far-out concept car or it's just rumor mill stuff, I don't typically talk about it on the show. But once there's some sort of official confirmation, even if we don't have a production car or a concept, if an official at, say, Toyota says, we're doing it, I think that's newsworthy.
Yeah, somebody at the company telling you?
Yeah, I think
not the guy selling hot dogs in front of the company?
Yeah, or, informant insider at the company. Like, none of those. Oh, yeah, Toyota's making a new Supra, and it's going to have a twin-turbo V12.
Leaked from the man that repaired the copy machines this week at Toyota. No.
Yeah, and so I think this is interesting. Now, the Celica, I would love to see it personally. Now, they're saying we're doing the Celica, but they're not necessarily saying any details. They're not saying what drivetrain it's going to have or any of that.
I think I would appreciate it if they did it as front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive. If there was just like straight-up options, it might work depending on the chassis. I don't know. If I had to gamble on it, I'd say they're going to bring it back as a front-wheel drive and maybe an all-wheel drive. But
I would love to see it be an all-wheel drive, personally, the Celica GT4. I think that would be great. With the GR Corolla, they brought back the GT4 naming convention by calling it the GR4, which is kind of clever because it's a GR Corolla.
Yeah.
So it's GR4. I like that. I think that's a good idea. I think they've got a good drivetrain, aside from the fact you can't do more than 80 miles an hour with it, and at least keep your warranty. They've got a decent drivetrain there, and they did interesting.
Another Corolla GR stab again.
I got one in last week, too.
That's jagged up.
That is jagged up. But here's the thing, the Celica, I think if you can actually make that be fun, you can make that be all-wheel drive, and you can make it relatively affordable because the Celica's never been...
They're a pretty bare bones vehicle.
Pretty bare
They're
bones.
an economy car. They've kind of always been an economy car. Even the early, 70s ones, the first set, they were what? They were like little shrunken up, if a Mustang and a Camaro had a little tiny, tiny baby, kind of thing.
Yeah, and, if they could do that, they could definitely steal, though, a big part of the pie from Subaru, who's just capitalizing on the
all-wheel
affordable
drive.
all-wheel drive sort of thing.
Yeah, somebody's got to get Subaru off its all-wheel drive thing. I don't know. Somebody else needs to bring some all-wheel drive being kind of dominant somewhere.
Well, and they do, and chairman at Toyota, Akio Toyoda, with a D. He's actually part of the Toyota family that started
the Toyota
it.
family does have a D in it.
He used to be CEO. He stepped down to a chair position in the company.
Okay.
But he's a huge motorsports fan, and he has said more
he
than...
races, too,
He
doesn't
races.
he? Yes.
No, he does rally.
Yeah.
Like, he straight up does. And he said before that he wants to bring back the sports cars, the classic sports cars to Toyota. He at least wants to bring back, he said before...
He wants to bring back Toyota as Toyota.
Yeah, and he's made the comment before that he at least wants to bring back the trio with the
MR2?
the MR2, the Supra, and the 86.
Okay.
And so we already have two of those.
Yeah.
We're still missing the MR2. But what's also interesting is apparently in an... Get
Mr.
this.
2 is, I'd be looking forward to a Mr. 2 again.
I would as well. And apparently in a cartoon, Toyota allegedly also leaked. There was in the background. And it's an official,
yeah. The Toyota little anime thing.
They have their own.
You can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
For those out there that don't know. They're little, 2-minute clips, but if you can watch them all in sequence, it's like Toyota versus the EV automated drive guy or company or something. I don't know what that is.
The anime series is called Grip, GRIP. Now, I get we're talking on talk radio. A lot of folks probably aren't going to be down on what an anime is. It's an Asian cartoon, but Toyota has their own. They absolutely do. And in the background even, they had a thing on the wall that had a checklist of things to do that said Supra Mark 6, Celica Mark 8, MR2 Mark 4, GR86 Mark 3, and GR GT3. What's that?
I don't know what that is.
Perhaps a GT3 race car, but maybe a homologation street car. Who knows? Now, we're getting too much. That's too much into the rumory mill thing here.
But the Celica's coming back, and that's good to know as a whole.
Yeah, we don't have too many details.
I'm excited, but I hope they do a little retro, the future is yesterday kind of thing, like a modernized, they did it with the Mustangs, the GT500s, and it was kind of a throwback to the old 60s sort of Mustangs. I kind of hope that Toyota does that, was like a 70s looking Celica, but with the modern stuff on it, but with all the modern amenities and safety, yada, yada stuff. But that shape, that'd be on point, I think.
Well, and a few weeks back at SEMA, they had that rally concept, and it was a GR86 with an all-wheel drive drivetrain lifted out of the GR Yaris, stuffed into there, but it had the Celica GT4 wing on the back with the old Castrol Racing livery from the day.
That's right.
Just saying, Toyota, when I said a few weeks ago, look, yeah, we know they're concept cars, but Toyota gauges reactions to that. They don't just make cool cars because they want to, like cool concept cars that they show off at shows like that. They don't. It's there to gauge market reaction. Yeah. It's there for a number of reasons, in addition to just marketing. But
it's a cheap Nielsen's report.
Exactly. Now, we only have a minute left, but last piece of news that I just am going to slip in here. They do have now that A90 Final Edition. They are saying that the end of the current generation, that Mark V Supra, is ending. And this is after they already teased, Mark 6 on the way. So they do have the A90 Final Edition, and they bumped the horsepower up from 382 to 429.
Okay.
And it can only, here's the best part, manual. You can't buy it in an auto even if you want.
Okay.
It is a transmission the way God intended for it to be.
Still BMW drivetrain and everything, though.
Still that.
I'm going to be, just shoot it out there, not a popular opinion, but I'm not really going to miss the Mark V, and I have 1 through 4 Supra, and I have...
You do have 1 through 4.
And I have no interest in the 5. I'm sorry. It's just not my shot of whiskey.
Yep. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope to catch you next week on the show. Remember to catch this as a podcast on video on Spotify, YouTube, and more. We're going to talk more cars. Jim might even be back next week.
I will be back.
We'll see you then.